Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here, and today is Thursday, November 2nd, 2023. Sorry for reporting a day late, but I was traveling, so here we are. I didn't want to kind of half-ass it, so we'll kind of jump right into the markets right now. What's going on with markets? You have markets that are really up a little bit in the last week. Copper prices are up overall, maybe, I don't know, 1% or so, 3-4 cents, nothing crazy. But there has been some larger pieces of news that have kind of filtered in that will start to affect the market. Namely, all three automakers have now signed agreements or agreed to terms with the different auto workers unions or the auto worker union. So that's going to be a good thing. That should start to see some material flowing again. I know that a lot of those automakers were losing hundreds of millions of dollars the last few weeks, as well as the auto manufacturers were losing that money. The auto workers now getting their raise. The auto workers are now going to be getting 4 years of job security, and that should start to have a little impact on some of the markets. And how it's going to have an impact, it's really more of a demand supply thing. Believe it or not, 6 weeks of striking really doesn't have a humongous dent, or it didn't have as big of a dent as we thought it would. Many people were predicting that the strike was going to go for 3 months, 4 months. That may have had more of a market impact, but what we're seeing right now is kind of leveling itself off. The interesting thing that I saw was more talking about the electric vehicles. And we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. But when it comes to vehicles and other types of auto scrap, this Sunday, November 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern, we have our first video dropping for our Auto Wrecker series. So if you're looking to learn more about how to make more money on cars, how to part things out, what to look for, our YouTube membership offers you a first view at all of these different videos that we're going to have coming out. And again, this Sunday, November 5th, 11 a.m. Eastern, the first video is dropping. So we're really excited to push it out there. We spent a lot of time, and we did this entire series on a hybrid vehicle. A couple months from now, we're going to be doing another series on a pure gasoline vehicle or diesel, whatever we end up getting in. So we'll be able to go into that, but still check out our YouTube page. We have so many videos. It's really crazy when you see how many things we have and how many topics we talk about to help you make more money with your scrap. We're not just here promoting prices and reporting prices, but we're also promoting how to make more money. We're promoting how you can sort and separate, what to look for, what relationships to build, what a scrapyard thinks. And it's nice to have a really rounded view of this. For years, I was down on the floor buying scrap from customers, talking to customers, then going on the road, kind of sales pitching customers, learning about their characteristic, their needs. And you can learn about the scrapyard's perspective from my own words that gives you a better idea of what we think about, which will help you as a scrapper make more money ultimately. So check that video out this Sunday, November 5th, 11 a.m. Eastern. Now, electric vehicles are really interesting. Ford made a humongous announcement the other day that they were going to stop production on a new facility that was going to be working on EVs. Why are they stopping it, and why did their stock go down 10%? Because the demand for electric vehicles is waning. It's dramatically decreasing. Tesla has seen a massive pullback. Ford has seen a massive pullback, thus them canceling one of their major projects. And what we're seeing is the push for electric vehicles that we've seen from the current administration and just other people over the last 5-10 years is not excelling the way that they would. Reasons: expensive metals, expensive vehicle outputs, lithium batteries. People aren't looking to spend $45,000 on a car because while there are a couple of electric vehicles that are cheaper, there are very few, and people are looking for more options, especially when they compare an electric vehicle cost to a gas car cost. In a gas car, they might be able to get a sunroof or upgraded packages, where with the EVs, there's not as many upgrades, and it's much more expensive, even with some of the government rebates that are out there. So we've seen that EV market cut down, and we've talked about this the last few years. EVs and electrification and solarization of the grid was supposed to enhance the value of copper, enhance the demand of copper. And while projects still are moving forward, that hasn't gone nearly as fast as we thought it would. I read an article just this morning about a wind farm being canceled off the shore of New Jersey and a couple of other wind farms trying to go in other places off the shores of Virginia. But just the project in New Jersey caused the company to have a $4 billion loss, and they're not going to put renewable energies out there. That's really important to know because that's going to have a decreased demand on the metal side of things. And we were hoping to see some type of a push in the next few years that would really push people to needing more metals, which is not what we're seeing. With interest rates continuing to stay high, with costs continuing to rise, with material prices continuing to go up, we're not seeing that drastic building of the entire world that we were kind of hoping for. We haven't really seen a rapid expansion in the last few years. Now you couple that with tough markets, higher interest, multiple wars. United States is going to be a little more distracted because now instead of focusing just on the country, they have a lot of wars that they're in, and they're going to have a lot of deals that they're making, and those things will have impacts on the scrap markets as well because they all do. I mean, nickel, for instance, nickel prices were supposed to be one of the items that was going to excel. A year and a half ago, we saw nickel prices around $27,000 a ton. Okay. Today, nickel prices are around $18,000 per ton. That's a 33% drop. When you think about that, a 33% drop hurts stainless prices. But why did the market drop? It goes back to the electric vehicles. A lot of nickel, along with lithium, is going to be used in these batteries. If the demand for electric vehicles is down, the demand for nickel is down, the price is down, and then you can see that on the stainless side of things. Here, price on some of the things, 25 cents, 30 cents, 29 cents. Your 30-day average down 16, almost 17% at 28 cents per pound. And when I look at nickel prices down, 1.5% in the last 7 days, these are going to be impacted. So your 304s, your 316s, your 17.4 stainlesses, those prices are going to be hurt. And because they're going to be hurt, the market isn't going to recover until we start to see a large increased demand somewhere, which we're not seeing. We're not going to have those markets reflecting that problem. So, kind of some of the things that are out there. We had a question through YouTube, and I'll just announce it. Does the situation in Panama about the copper mine contract impact scrap? If so, how does it affect you guys? So you guys being a scrapyard, I won't address, but I will address the market overall. Panama's not the world's leading producer of copper ore, right? You have a lot of that out of Chile, Peru. This is not going to have an impact on the market. We've seen the markets unchanged in the last week. Not every strike, not every market issue has a direct impact on scrap. Sure, it scratches around the edges, it touches something somewhere, but not to the point that people would think that it's going to really, really affect like a market changing event. Example, if there was a war that broke out in Saudi Arabia, in Russia, another war in Russia, right? Things that affected the oil prices would drastically shoot the prices up, like we saw in March of 2022, with the Russia invasion of Ukraine. What do we see happen? Stainless shot up, copper shot up, platinum shot up, rhodium shot up. That affected catalytic converter prices. Those markets shot up really quickly. By June, they were below the point that they were a few months earlier. So that would have been something that shoots it up, but then shoots it down once you start to see how things kind of settle themselves out. Talk about catalytic converters. So why don't we just jump into it? Don't forget we always try to talk about the catalytic converter markets. I know it's not a huge market for everyone compared to their steel or their aluminums, but the team over at rrcats.com continuing to quote your catalytic converters, having a 10-day price lock guarantee and free shipping on all OEMs. So what have we seen in the last week? Let's see here. Platinum up 4%, palladium about even, and rhodium up 14%. Our overall national average hovering right around $79. That was a little higher last week when we saw those rhodium prices jump up to about 4,900 per ounce. But with those prices down, you can see here we started to see those markets dipping back down again. Now, with the markets dipping back down, it really goes right to the rhodium prices. And if we can scroll to the bottom of this page, you'll see some of the prices that are listed on here, and they do get updated. Please go down a little further. It should be a precious metal one. Yep, this precious metal market just shows you where the markets are at: 908, 3,800, 1,100. And if we could click on rhodium real quick, you'll be able to see kind of that market dip that we're talking about that really affected things the last few days. So if you can see the prices around 4,800 an ounce a few days ago, and here we are, fast forward all the way, 7-9 days later, 3,800. That's large market decreases. Now, those market decreases, they hurt the pricing. OEM gas engines have rhodium, platinum, and palladium in them. So that's what's going to boost those prices when it comes to those OEMs. Diesels do not have rhodium in them, so they're more reliant on platinum and palladium prices. Now, with the waning auto demand for cars out there, we're starting to see these markets continuing to dip down for catalytic converters. We're starting to see a lot of people kind of just scratching their head saying, I've been saving for a while, but it doesn't look like things are jumping, so we're not going to make any market movements. We're going to unload what we have, and that's what we're actually starting to see over at rrcats.com. So if you have questions, please let us know. But with these prices where they are, I think they're where they're going to be for the foreseeable future, at least for the next 15, 16 months. A couple other users here. Let's see. A few users were curious about the price of crushed cars and how large discrepancy there is between a complete and incomplete car prices. So we'll pull some of these prices up, and they're also curious if it's worth holding onto cars and trying to hold out for better prices, because the markets may go up. Let's talk about incomplete versus complete cars. And of course, you can't better illustrate this in our auto series that drops this Sunday, November 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern. You make more money on a complete car. If you start parting cars out, taking the catalytic converters, the aluminum rims, the battery, wiring harness, you take value from the car. So of course, the incomplete car price is going to be less. But when scrap yards go to sell these, they generally are crushing their cars, but they're removing the fluids, they're removing a bunch of things ahead of time. So they're also going to be able to make more money if the cars are whole, but they're also going to part them out. So in my opinion, if you're doing cars often, parting them out will make you more money in the long term. Alternators, starters, all of these things that we'll talk about inside of our auto series. But with the prices right now around $155 per ton, down about 9% in the last 30 days. I saw a very small increase coming across my desk this morning of about $3 to $5 per ton for November. But don't forget, we have a bunch of slow months coming up. November holidays, slow. December holidays, slow. January, first month of the year, people are getting caught up. People are seeing where the markets are. People are going to be adjusting their prices. Here, if we look up here, starter prices, 30 cents a pound, where average starters, 15, 16 pounds, that's $5 that you can take out if it's easily accessible. Here are some of the prices that we've seen posted in the last few days: 32 cents, 36, 39, 38. And these are good areas for you to be able to sort and separate your scrap. So by checking out that auto series on YouTube, you're going to learn more about these things. And that's a really great thing. Alternator price, 41 cents a pound. So you have a 38 to 41 cent number on alternators and starters. That's double the price of electric motors. What does that mean? They have more value. So if we have a 40-cent average, let's pull up electric motor prices and let's see what we have as a national average right now. Go to the copper ones. This way we're not getting any type of a bad. So 20 cents a pound is a 30-day average. Double the price. Alternators and starters should be sorted and separated. We've talked about this in multiple videos and movies. And there, if you look right here, 20 cents, 19, 18, 20, 19 cents. There's your number, 30 cents per pound. So, or excuse me, 20 cents per pound. Just another thing to look at, right? You know, we look at all these different markets, and that's why when you report your prices, you can use the iScrap app to really make money on stuff.
And
just
search metals.
Yeah, you can search metals. I mean, we have hundreds of metals, and you can just type it up. They'll auto-populate. If you look at the categories, you can whatever you think. And if we're missing one, let us know. We have over 200, or so metals that are up there. So if we're missing something, we shouldn't be, because it's been 11 or 12 years. But nonetheless, check out these things, because you might call it something different. I learned once upon a time that in the South, they call it more sheet iron opposed to light iron. So you just don't know where those markets are. Here, you can see some prices here. These are a little old, but wiring harnesses are about $1 a pound right now. Should be a little higher than a regular copper wire. So again, just something to look for. One thing that I will mention briefly is about pricing for Canadians. If we can pull that up real quick. If you go on your app, or you go on your desktop, iPad, whatever, next to the current metal prices, there's a little map, right? Excuse me, a little flag. Click the American or click the Canadian one. It'll automatically convert for you. Some people were a little confused on that, because when you're looking at prices in US dollars, it's confusing.
Yeah. And in the app, go to your settings menu, and you can change it to Canadian dollars or US.
So on your app, you just go to settings. You can switch it automatically, and I believe it'll save this way. It always defaults to what you're looking to use, which makes sense. So that should help a bunch of our Canadian friends as well. But overall, the last week, scrappers, I mean, I don't know what's going on. We got November 2nd here. I think that the markets are fair, right? I don't think they're great. I have a continued sell recommendation on all items. And you've heard me say this many times on these films. I personally have a 2 to 3 day turnover on 90 to 95% of my material, which just shows you I'm not saving much, because I don't like where the markets are. And I generally like to get it in and out, because you don't get hurt too badly. So, here we are. Markets are what they are. Today is November 2nd, 2023. I'll be skipping next week's report. I'll be coming back, and we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. My sister will be talking about some scrap next week. So if you have questions, by all means, comment on these. And don't forget, this Sunday, November 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern, our first Auto Wrecker series video is dropping. So please check that out as well. We're really excited to see that video and the reactions to that on YouTube. So until next week, until 2 weeks for me, scrappers, I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for watching our video. For $2.99 a month, by becoming a member, you can get access to early videos, member-only videos, merchandise discounts from our store, and priority comments that we answer before answering any other scrappers. Click the link below to learn more. Until next time, scrap you later.